Our mission is to energize the community through education and outreach to preserve the lagoon as both a healthy and accessible watershed. This foundation has been around since 1990, and from 1990 until today, the mission statement has evolved, but the two main words, accessibility and health, have remained the same. And it's very unique amongst San Diego because if you go up and down, most of the lagoons are all conservancies, which means you can't actually access the water, and here you can. You can only access the water if it's healthy, and so those two key words are a big part of what we do and the history of our organization. So you can go up until the border, which is where the Agua Hedionda Creek flows in, as well as Macaya Creek. So there's two creeks that flow into the water. The water is brackish water, which means it's a combination of salt water, which is getting flushed from the ocean and has that open inlet, and then the two freshwater creeks. So you have to stop there. There unfortunately is no sign, but that is where the Agua Hedionda Ecological Reserve is. So that portion of the lagoon and that piece of land is owned and maintained by California Department of Fish and Wildlife Service, and it does not allow access in that area. Yes, don't ask me to name them. Who could name them likely is Hub SeaWorld Research Institute, which has a nonprofit office on the lagoon as well. They grow white sea bass. We're partners with them, and so they are true scientists and would likely know the many species. I can name quite a few, just definitely not.
One of our biggest programs that we have here is our Academy for Environmental Stewardship, and we offer field trips for anywhere from preschool to 7th grade students to come here to the Discovery Center, and then we lead them through a series of 5 different rotations, and we offer these programs for all of San Diego County. With the Carlsbad Charitable Foundation, they have helped us to be able to bring all students that are living in Carlsbad to attend our 3rd grade field trips 3 different times throughout the program. So these students will be going through our Live the Past field trip that we travel back in time, and we learn all about the Indian people that used to live here and still live here today. And we go through a series of 5 different rotations for that one. Then we do our Experience Today field trip that goes all about plant and animal adaptations in this area. And finally, they'll attend our Honor the Future program, where we talk about the positive and negative impacts that humans have on our environment, and we highlight those positive impacts and how we can better our environment. And in those 3 field trips, we also have edutainers, as we call them, and they are speakers who come at the very end of our field trip and kind of give just an extra little tidbit, kind of tie everything together. So we have Al Cerda, who is a Luiseño, and he does a presentation at the end of our Live the Past program. We have 4 really awesome native raptors that live here at the Discovery Center, and they come out during our Experience Today field trip. And then we have a Talks with Trees for our Honor the Future field trip that talks about the importance of the trees and how we can better protect our environment. In all of our field trips, but probably more specifically, our Honor the Future field trip, we always talk about educating the future lagoon stewards. So the students that are coming through these field trips, they are our next conservationists, environmentalists, the biologists and things, and we are giving them like a hands-on opportunity to actually learn about our watershed and how they can better protect our watershed. So when we're talking to them about these different things, for example, one of the Honor the Future field trips or rotations on our field trip is all, it's called our pollution table. So we talk about the different pollutants that are in our environment and how they might end up into our lagoon. And then we have a whole portion of the conversation of, hey, how could we better help protect our environment? What are things that we could be changing or things that we could be doing to help better conserve it? And so they are the next generation, and we are helping build up their knowledge and their ability to help better preserve the Agua Hedionda Lagoon Foundation, or the Agua Hedionda Lagoon. 2 falcons and 2 owls. So we currently have an American kestrel. His name is Blue. We have Celerity. She is a peregrine falcon. We have a tecolote, a western screech owl. and who is a great horned owl. And all of these raptors have either a behavioral or physical limitation that would not allow them to survive in the wild. They are living here with us, and we call them our teachers. So they're here to help teach our students and our visitors all about these animals. I think that one of the largest challenges for the Academy for Environmental Stewardship is funding. With inflation, funding is increasing, or funding is decreasing, and the cost of everything is increasing. So a lot of times these schools would not be able to attend our Academy for Environmental Stewardship if we were not able to help subsidize the cost. So for this grant, these students are attending all of our programs at no cost to them, and the Carlsbad Charitable Foundation also helped pay for the busing for these students as well, because a lot of times if schools do have the funding for them to be able to come on field trips, the increasing cost of transportation, there's a little to no money left over for the programming. So with this grant, both the cost of the transportation and the cost for the programming has been covered, so that then we can make sure all of these students are getting this hands-on environmental education.
Our strategic goals for 2024, we have three main initiatives, which were increase our membership. The more members we have, the better funded we are, the better we can get the word out, the better involvement the community brings. The other one was adult education, which Emily can touch on after this. And then lastly was more conservation. So we, for the first time in our history, hired a director of trails and conservation. That started in November. And so we are piecing together, and in 24 really having a more significant focus on our trails, the benefits that trails bring to the community, the benefits that the trails provide. The trails use every single day in our Academy for Environmental Stewardship programs. It's a teaching classroom, it's an outdoor classroom, and it's an example of looking at nature, preserving nature, and interacting with nature. And so although the grant didn't fund, let's say, trail restoration, it funded all the students to be able to come see that trail, and it's just a cycle of influence, right? Kids go home, they tell their parents, this was so cool, I love the Discovery Center, I got to hold an animal, I got to walk outside, I got to see a live raptor, and they're learning all of that in nature, opposed to just in an outdoor classroom, or an indoor classroom, sorry. And adult education, you want to?
Yeah, our Academy for Environmental Stewardship is really focused for preschool through 7th grade. And we had people coming in all the time being like, hey, we want to learn about some of these things that you guys are learning about on these field trips. So we created an adult lecture series for 2024. It's the first Wednesday of every month. And we do actually have two of our edutainers that are in our 3rd grade field trips coming and doing an adult lecture, so that then we can continue learning. I mean, I say that I'm a lifelong learner, and I know that there are a lot of other people who are out there that are lifelong learners as well. And so we wanted to create a program where they can come in and continue learning about the Agua Hedionda Lagoon. And so we had, on January 3rd, we had a talk all about reptiles and amphibians in North County. And then on February 7th, we'll have our second lecture, and it will be with Rick Grove, and it will be all about Carlsbad native birds in promotion, I guess, for the Great Backyard Bird Count that's on February 16th.
The Great Backyard Bird Count is a program through the Audubon Society. So the Audubon Society is nationwide, maybe even worldwide, I'm not quite sure. San Diego has a very active community of birders and a very active Audubon nonprofit. The lagoon to the north of us, Buena Vista, is called Buena Vista Audubon Society, or Buena Vista Lagoon Foundation, but it's funded by the Audubon Society. And so the Great Backyard Bird Challenge, which is in February, which is how we're tying that lecture series in, is for everyone to go get involved. There's so many free apps on your phone, iNaturalist, eBird, Merlin, that you can go out, you can look outside, you can see any species of bird in your vicinity. Backyard bird does much. So between that and climate change is another just big problem. If you look at Hawaii, you had all these species of birds that would live up the mountain. Well, the temperatures rise, and the temperatures rising up the mountain, mosquitoes are coming, and so now all these birds are have that sort of problem that they didn't have before climate change. So just great backyard bird count is bringing awareness to all of that, getting people excited about birds, and it's all on a phone. Snap a photo, identify it, and it helps with citizen science and for those scientists to say, oh, someone saw a gnat catcher.
So our members are able to come to the adult lecture for free. We do have a vast array of memberships here at the Discovery Center. And then any guests, we just have a suggested $10 donation to enjoy the lecture.
The environment is something we all have in common. We all have to live in it, we all have to interact with it, and we all have to propel it forward for us all to have these experiences that we were all afforded at our point in time. So here we really focus on that word inspired. We're really trying to inspire the future generations or the current generations to be a part of that movement. And I think it's unique in a sense that we're not telling everybody to, hey, you need to be vegan, you need to do this. Although all those things are great, we really want to inspire people and provide them with these opportunities so they can make those choices how they want to move forward themselves. And the Discovery Center itself, it's magical. You come, you see animals, you see happy students coming through campus. We have 30 to 40 preschool students every single day that are just out in nature, loving nature. But I would say inspire is the catchword that we like to use, and you might have something better than that.
Yeah, I think the other thing is we just want to welcome everybody to the Discovery Center. We say that we are a safe space in nature for all. So we invite everybody to come down. We know that life gets busy and you're always driving your car, your cell phone's always on, everything is busy, but come here, unplug, enjoy the trails, see some of the animals that we have here, and maybe learn something new if you come during an adult lecture or just come by to visit. I think it's inspiring to see new people here every single day and having people explore our trails and spend time in nature, because we all need it. And we are here to help everybody find that space.